I never imagined a simple joke could destroy a marriage. But then again, I never thought I'd see that look in my husband's eyes, the kind that silently tells you something inside him has broken beyond repair. It happened on a Saturday night at our friend Melissa's birthday dinner. The restaurant was one of those trendy downtown spots with dim lighting and bursts of laughter bouncing off the walls. There were 10 of us at the table. Old college friends, their partners, all talking over one another while the wine kept pouring. I remember thinking how content I felt that evening, how grateful I was to have a husband like Ryan. He had always been the calm one, the listener, the man who could sit quietly in a crowd and still make everyone feel noticed. That night, he was the same. Smiling faintly, hand resting on his glass, eyes drifting from one conversation to the next. But somewhere between the second bottle of wine and the dessert, something shifted. I think it was Daniel who started joking about how I run the house. He laughed and said Ryan should be crowned the most patient husband alive. Everyone chuckled and joined in. "You're not wrong," I said lightly. "Ryan practically asks for permission to breathe." The table burst into laughter. It wasn't cruel, not yet, but it was the kind of joke that slips out too easily when the wine is warm and the night feels harmless. I caught Ryan's face just then, a small, polite smile that didn't touch his eyes. "Come on," Melissa added. "He's a sweetheart. You're lucky he puts up with you." And that was when I said it, the line I wish I could take back. "Oh, he doesn't put up with me. He just knows I'm always right." It was meant to be funny, maybe even charming. But the laughter that followed had a strange edge. Even I felt it, something sharp beneath the noise. Ryan slowly set his glass down, the sound of his wedding ring tapping softly against the stem. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't look angry. If anything, he looked calm, too calm, like a man who had finally reached the quiet eye of a long storm. "You know," he said evenly, "it's funny how people laugh at the truth when it's wrapped as a joke." The laughter stopped instantly. A few people shifted in their seats. I tried to laugh it off, but nothing came out. Ryan stood up. "I think that's enough for me tonight," he said, placing a few bills on the table. "You all enjoy the rest of your evening." "Ryan, wait," I whispered. But he was already walking toward the door. At first, I thought he just needed air. "We talk later," I told myself. Maybe argue a little, then make up in the car. But when I got home an hour later, his side of the closet was empty. His toothbrush was gone. So was the framed wedding photo that had always sat on our dresser. On the kitchen counter lay a folded note. It read, "When the person you love laughs at you long enough, you start to realize you've become their favorite joke. I hope someday you find something real to laugh about." My knees buckled. I sat on the cold tile floor, staring at that note, feeling my chest tighten. In that moment, the party replayed in my mind. The laughter, the teasing, the way I treated him like he didn't matter. I hadn't just embarrassed my husband that night. I'd humiliated the man who had loved me quietly for years, forgiven me easily, and only ever wanted me to see him the way he saw me. And now he was gone.
I didn't sleep that night.
Every sound in the house, the hum of the fridge, the ticking clock, reminded me of him. The way he used to fix the squeaky cabinet, fold the laundry perfectly, leave his phone face down and say, "When I'm with you, I'm with you." Now the silence was heavier than anger. I called, straight to voicemail. I texted, no reply. I sent one last message, "I'm sorry. Please come home." He never did. By morning, I told myself he just needed space. Ryan wasn't impulsive. But as hours turned into days, I realized this wasn't a pause. It was an ending. On the third day, I drove to his brother's house. His car was in the driveway. When he opened the door, I barely recognized him. No wedding ring, eyes tired but steady. "I just need to talk," I said quietly. He nodded and stepped aside. There was no anger, no shouting, just the heavy silence of two people who had become strangers. "I didn't mean to embarrass you," I began. "It was a stupid joke." Everyone was laughing. "That's the problem, Anna," he said calmly. Each word landed like a weight. "You think it was about laughter. It wasn't.
It was about respect."
I didn't lose you that night. You lost me, piece by piece, long before that dinner. Tears blurred my eyes. Why didn't you tell me you felt that way? I did, he said simply. You called it overthinking. You said I was too sensitive. I opened my mouth, but no words came. He was right. I'd said all of that. I wasn't quiet because I didn't care, he continued softly. I was quiet because I was tired. Do you know what it feels like to be laughed at by the person who's supposed to love you most? It's not just embarrassing. It wears you down until you stop trying to be seen. I wanted to promise I'd change, but I knew words couldn't mend what years of carelessness had broken. He handed me an envelope, divorce papers already signed. I'm not doing this to hurt you, he said. I just can't stay somewhere I've become invisible. He turned and walked away before I could answer. The door closed softly, yet it sounded louder than any fight we'd ever had. For weeks, I replayed that night over and over, every laugh, every careless word. Friends tried to comfort me, saying he overreacted. But deep down, I knew he didn't. He finally reacted, and that made all the difference. I learned that love doesn't always end with shouting or slammed doors. Sometimes it ends with a quiet decision made at a dinner table, when someone realizes they've been living as the punchline in their own story. Months later, I saw him at a grocery store. He looked lighter, not happier, but free. He gave me a polite nod, the kind you give to a memory you've already made peace with. I nodded back.
That was our goodbye.
Simple, final, strangely kind. Now, when people ask what happened between us, I don't say, he left. I say, he stopped waiting for me to stop laughing. And every time I hear laughter at a dinner table, I remember that night, the wine, the candlelight, and the moment I confused mockery for love. It wasn't the joke that ended our marriage. It was the moment he realized I'd forgotten the line between being funny and being cruel.